Welcome. This is Chip Roasting.
I'm Wally.
I am somebody. I'm Brennan. I'm not Brennan. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. We're roasting some chips.
Hello,
What is
everyone.
up?
It's Wally and not wet hair.
Yes, of course. That
That's
only
pretty
makes sense if you're watching it. I've started up a tradition of just choosing names.
We had two
So.
viewers on our last video. So
Really?
yeah, I know, crazy.
Cool.
I can't believe it's been 2 weeks since we did the last podcast.
Yeah,
It
right?
has literally flown by and been the slowest 2 weeks of my life at the same time. So look at that reminder to do the podcast. You have a beard. That's
a good
new.
light. Yeah, I do. I just haven't shaved since I think the last podcast. So, oops.
Gotcha.
I look very disheveled right now. Might be the right word.
You're.
Oh well.
Remember? Did you watch The Big Bang Theory when it was popular?
Infrequently.
Okay, you kind of look like Howard Wolowitz when when he's not playing Howard, when he has a beard.
Remember that name? Nope,
Yeah,
that's the wrong way to position that light. Hold on.
I don't know, but when he's not being a nerd on TV, he has a beard and curly hair, and that's you kind of look like him, but with lighter hair.
Maybe if I do this, is that better?
I don't know.
That is not
I have shitty
better.
lighting, so it doesn't matter. Brennan, who watches this?
Haunted.
Who cares?
That's a great question. So speaking of no one watching this here, oops.
Yeah.
Time to put this in frame. That's so important for all of the 0 people who watch this.
It's okay. As long as we know that it's there, it doesn't matter.
So far, this has been very entertaining as an audio medium here. Struggling to set up after we've already hit record. Anyway, howdy everybody.
It happens. So
this is podcast number 49,
50.
Maybe 50.
Yeah, this is number 50, the big 50
there.
And we are what? 16 days, 7. How many days are in August? 30 or 31?
31. Yes.
So there's 17 days away from. What was that?
What was what?
Never mind. That was a Mayan. 17 days away from our 2-year anniversary. September 14th, I believe, was our first ever podcast.
That is incredible. That does not sound right at all.
Well, I mean, we had a 4-week break there. This should have come a lot earlier, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah. So as I told Brennan before we started this podcast, I didn't pay attention to the news. I've been so busy, and like at my old job, I just sit there and write down news. I can't do that now because you have like
you have an actual job now, huh?
I mean, yeah, you can say that. I mean, the other one was an actual job. It's just that this one is an actual company. I think that's where we're getting it wrong. And so last was a job. This is a real company now. So
yes, the people are competent. Is that a better way of phrasing things?
So much better.
Okay.
Yeah, and they smile, which did not know people at work did that. So.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what we talk about on this podcast.
I do have some news. This is all.
Hey, there we go.
This is all going to be off the cuff here. Don't know if it's right.
Off the top, off the top of the noggin.
Yeah, this is what I remember seeing, and I believe this is the last 2 weeks ish. So
yeah,
hope so. The Flash movie will release still.
Cool. Yeah, I did see that.
Because a couple days ago. Ezra Miller issued a public apology for their behavior. The news rumors or whatever said that they were very well aware of the headlines and all of the bad publicity around them, but they did not care about it at all. They were like, yeah, whatever, until they learned it could affect the status of the Flash movie. And they were like, absolutely not. I love the Flash movie. I love playing the Flash. That's great. So like, I will do everything to protect that movie and me playing the Flash that I can. So because of that, they like got help and they issued the apology. So
that's a positive.
Hope it's a good movie. I guess we'll find out.
Did people find him? I'm sorry, them. Did people find them?
Yep.
Because you said that they were kind of MIA there for a little bit.
Yes, and they are now receiving professional help, is what has been said. So.
Good.
Cool.
They're on the right track. I also did see
they are no longer a war criminal. So
Yeah, because all you have to do in order to stop being a war criminal is issue a public apology.
Yeah.
And then also get help.
Yes.
If any of us did that, well, it'd be some jail time. Everyone's treated equally in this country.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But I mean, that's good. I did see about the Flash movie that is like had like really high like audience score from like the initial preview or whatever. Did you see that?
Yeah, but those numbers, they don't always indicate if it's actually good or not. Like, but sometimes not at all, but it is promising. It is a good first step.
It is. I can't think of any other news off the top of my and Rogue One was out on theater yesterday. That was something.
When was this?
Yeah, so they announced that Rogue One was going to be in theaters. It was like, oh, cool. And apparently that was yesterday, and I didn't know that until last time. I was like, well, I guess there goes my chance of seeing it in theater.
Spider-Man is coming back to theaters in like a couple days. I totally forgot about that.
11 minutes or something like that.
I need to watch that. And I think now I can, because I think Lauren no longer has to work Thursday evening.
Have you seen the new episode of She-Hulk?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good. All right, cool. That's always good to know, because I know you hadn't last I texted you, but
that is a fantastic thing to have figured out like 5 to 10 minutes into this podcast episode.
We forgot the most important news. This was the whole point of episode 4 of this podcast. We're getting a Community movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this has been.
How did that slip our minds?
Such a long stretch. Yeah. It could be up to 8 years from now, but a movie
he basically confirmed
the first time. Yeah, this is the first time it's been confirmed that there is a movie in the works, that there's an idea that's been pitched out, that negotiations are underway. That's huge. That's huge. And massive. Apparently he said that this was true like 3 years ago as well. So this has been in the works for a while.
Wow. They just got to get everyone to sign on, right?
Yeah. And there has to be like a studio to like undertake the project or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Because was it NBC? They got rid of them in their sixth season?
And then Yahoo Screen, yep.
That no longer exists, which I don't think anyone's against that.
Just hearing Yahoo Screen still, I'm like, that wasn't real. That didn't happen. That doesn't sound like a real thing.
That was like, they missed the bar by like a couple years. If they had just been a couple years later, I think it wouldn't have worked. But at least people would have remembered it.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, that's a strong maybe, but
probably. I mean,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like one of the major streaming networks gets it instead of like a movie studio, which I guess they're technically still movie studios. That's always a possibility. But that's not their thing.
I wonder, because I know that like Netflix, put Community on it.
Yeah.
And it was like hugely successful for like a good few weeks. It was like in one of the top spots for a while. So maybe, streaming service like that would be great. Maybe it'll end up back at NBC. That'd be really circle there.
Yeah, that'd be.
And they would do to NBC what they did to Yahoo Screen.
Kill NBC. What if Peacock gets it, and then that's when Peacock goes down the drain?
Oh yes, that'd be perfect.
Actually, would be surprised if Peacock when it did that. I would hate it because I'd have to pay for it. But I'd watch the movie.
Yeah, I probably would too. Is it Peacock or Paramount that I don't understand how their subscription thing works? It's one of those. There's one of them where there's like 3 tiers, and the first one's free, but it doesn't have anything, but it tricks you into thinking that.
Yeah, so that's Peacock.
Yeah, it is.
So
okay, well, it just
Peacock,
sucks then.
I have Peacock, which is because it's free. And like you get access to like the shows that no one likes, or like no one cared about. Like, what was it? I watched the show during the pandemic the pandemic that I really enjoyed.
During Mark Hamill.
It was called.
We haven't made a Mark Hamill joke in like forever.
It's been a while. It feels weird.
I need to get back on that.
I feel like we're doing like some fan service right now, talking about old stuff here on our 50th episode.
Yeah.
Like this is very fan service here right now, but
the 50th anniversary and the 50th anniversary. Oh my god, the 50th episode. Spectacular.
It would be 74, 73. Ooh, Okay, this week in Marvel's Phase 59.
Marvel's Phase 126.
Old Man Logan beat Old Man Rocket into submission on this week's episode of Old Man Rocket. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, Peacock. There's a show I watched on there, and it was very good. And then they put season 3 only on Peacock instead of on NBC. I don't remember what the show was called though. And I like, it was like $8. I was like, this is not worth it. Yeah. And the last season was terrible. So
you'd be proud of me because I canceled my Apple TV subscription on time. I had a 3-month free trial.
There you go.
And like the day before it ended, I was like, cancel. And I usually forget that. Like, what was the other thing I was subscribed to?
CBS All Access before it became Paramount
CBS All Access. I was subscribed for that for 2 extra months. I kept forgetting to cancel. Because
I think because that was right before they turned the Paramount Plus.
Yeah, CBS All Access no longer exists, right? Yeah, that's so weird. I subscribe to something that no longer exists. Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, did you also subscribe to Yahoo Screen?
Oh yeah. I was a big Yahoo Screen streamer. I was one of the 3 customers that they had. So
though, at least season 6 was good.
What?
At least season 6 was it was good. Like, it was a good season. It wasn't a great season. It was a solid season.
Seasons 4, 5, and 6 get so much hate from people, not from the same people. Yeah. Everyone always picks one season out of 4, 5, and 6 to just ruthlessly hate. Yeah. And obviously season 4 is the correct answer there.
Yeah, season 4
but
is
there's just
not that good. But
yeah,
it's not horrible. Yeah. Like there's some episodes in there that are pretty good.
There are a lot of great episodes of season 4. I just think that season 4 also has the worst episode, which is episode 12 of season 4. Like Heroic Origins, I feel like is a horrible episode. That's my least favorite out of all of them.
I can't remember that one.
Maybe
that's probably good.
It's like an origin story for the group, and they didn't really need an origin story.
It's for the group or for like that one. Yeah, that one. It's kind of stupid. You're right. That one's really dumb, considering like we were there when they were born.
Yeah, right.
Like episode 1 does that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I just finished my rewatch.
That's enough fan service right now. Let's move on.
Yeah. I just finished my rewatch of How I Met Your Mother. Cool. I've been doing this for the last probably a month and a half or so. And then since
how did he meet their mother, by the way? Is that
cute.
Spoilers?
You have 9. It's a great story. You have 9 years. It's 9 seasons.
That might push me a little close on time. Can you condense it to like 8.5 years?
Yeah. I got it. Okay. But anyway, so you need to watch that show. That's a show that you need to watch. Yeah. I think you would enjoy it until season 9. Which, all right. Well, here's the thing. Have you ever? And maybe I'll spoil it because I doubt you'll ever watch it. It's a good show. I think you'd like Scrubs more than How I Met Your Mother, but whatever. Because I think Scrubs is a lot more like Brooklyn Nine. It's a little bit like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's a little different humor because it's a hospital and not a police station. But have you ever gotten to the very last episode of a show and be like, I just wasted my last 9 years watching this TV show?
The 100.
Really?
Great show up to the very last episode. The very last episode was the worst episode of television I've seen for like basically anything. It sucked. Really? I don't know how they could have messed up that badly. It was a great series up till the very last episode.
Okay.
And
here's the thing about How I Met Your Mother, though.
And what I honestly believe for the 100 is they got the very last episode. They shot in the head everybody who worked in the show up till that point, like the backstage people, and then got all the people. They were like, "Hey, here's what's happened so far. Make up an ending," and then that's how they just did it on the fly. Because it is so absurd. They basically broke like everything they had said they were going to do for the show. Just in like the last episode, they just went back on everything, and they just it is the most bizarre. Like it's like the rest of the show is so grounded, and the last episode is like, hey, what if we just turned everybody into giant balls of light? You think I'm joking?
I don't think you're joking.
It's so absurd. Like, it's literally so like realistic and gritty, and a huge element of the last episode is just, hey, everyone's balls of light now, just as a heads up. And it's like that wasn't built up at all. They just very last episode. Anyway, How I Met Your Mother here.
Okay, so that's one thing. So it was consistently good all the way up until the very last episode.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So
the last episode was bad.
It literally is like the 100 then, just the very last episode.
No. I'm talking about that's how the 100 was, right?
Okay.
So something. So yes. How I Met Your Mother is basically the story of the main character Ted, who, by the way, is the worst character in the show.
Perfect.
Or at least in my opinion. He gets really good in season 9, and then they kill it. But they take the whole point of the show is that he is telling his kids how he met their mother, hence the name of the show, How I Met Your Mother.
But we don't know who the mother is, right?
Not until the very last episode of season 8. Then we know who it is, but we don't see them meet until the very end of season 9. It's like the last scene. Okay.
Interesting.
So because he had to tell their kids this, right? People age. So you can't keep those kids as kids forever, right? So one of the kids is David Henry from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Was he the older one or
the older one?
Oh, yeah? All right. Okay.
I don't remember his character's name. I remember Alex, but that's because Selena Gomez is Selena Gomez, and she's, unlike David Henry.
Steve or Barney or Mike or something.
It's not Barney. Barney's from How I Met Your Mother. Anyway.
Okay. I'm just spouting out names.
So they had to shoot the last parts of they had to shoot the very last part.
Yeah.
Of the show really early on, so that they could, stay children.
Oh.
Right. Because they're telling, so they had scenes they could go back to, but you only see the children really they interact with the dad other than saying the word "what" in season 1, because again, you can't keep them around for fucking 9 years and not have them age.
Yes,
because it
was Justin. I was close to my guesses. Don't remember which
Justin. Which one. So we get to the end, right? Completely makes the entire show irrelevant. And the kids knew this, and the writers knew this for 9 years. They knew for 9 years that they were going to make the show irrelevant.
How? Wait.
I can't tell you because it'll spoil.
Okay. It'll be a spoiler.
Yes, unless you don't care. Do you ever plan on watching it?
I'm not sure. Probably not, but also I get bored enough for content sometimes that
that's
might.
True, because if you did it for content, we could have Steven back on and we could rank the How Much Better episodes. He's working on a ranking right now.
Oh, yeah?
By himself, just because. And I'm probably going to start too because I just rewatched the entire show.
Oh, wow.
But they made the entire show irrelevant. And they knew that for 9 years. 9 years.
Wow.
That just makes me mad.
Nice.
And I love that show to death. Like, it's my favorite show of all time. It's for what Community is for you is what How I Met Your Mother is for me.
Wow. Okay.
I love that show. I watch it when I'm happy. I watch it when I'm sad. I watch it when I'm... Are there other emotions?
Nope.
But I used to, and when I would rewatch it, I would only go up to the end of season 7 because 8 and 9 were just so bad. 8, I'll watch 8 now because 8's it's not as bad as I thought it was. Okay. 9, I still hate 9. I still refuse to watch season 9. It's only the second time I've ever rewatched. It's the first time I've ever rewatched season 9.
Interesting.
I only watched it the first time. I was like, wow, this sucks. And I never watched it again. I'm going to keep it that way. It's terrible. Clearly, I'm not over this. The internet made alternate endings to this, and I like that better. So, which is basically he meets the mother, and that's it. That's the end of the story.
Interesting. I might have to watch it now just so we get the one episode out of content here that we can do with that.
I mean, it's pretty easy to watch.
Podcast subjects me to.
It's pretty easy to watch. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's 9 seasons, but actually, it's 9 seasons. It's like 100. It's like almost 200 episodes. Because
I'm kind of at a point where I need new content. But I've also been watching a whole lot recently. So
yeah,
because I started to rewatch Agents of Shield because I didn't watch Agents of Shield in a while, but I wanted to get back into it because
I gotta watch season 3 of Harley Quinn. Then I'll watch that. That's a good show to watch.
Yeah, Agents of Shield is pretty solid. I can't go back and watch the first season just because it takes so much time to build up because it's just character development the first season, which is phenomenal. The first time you watch it, it's great. We're just trying to sit through that, knowing what happens. I'm just so impatient. But I started with season 2 was immediately oh my God, I missed way too much stuff. What's happening here? But I've remembered as I've caught up. and it's
okay.
It's pretty good. It's a bit slower pace at first, but like, because I remember I absolutely loved seasons 3 and 4.
Yeah,
and I'm pumped to get back to those because like the show does start off slow because it's grounded and gradually gets more ungrounded as things like continue, but like in a phenomenal way.
Yeah, I think when I had Netflix the first time, because I only had Netflix for like a little bit because I was doing free trials, but now I have an account. It's totally my 100% my account, not anyone else's at all, right? Because no one shares accounts.
No,
What is
no.
this? What is this? Anyway,
this episode has been sponsored by Don't Share Netflix accounts. Don't do
any account, really.
Never
just
do it.
None?
No,
0.
Exactly. Don't do it.
But so anyway, I only had it for like the 3 months or whatever, or the 3 months or whatever. And I was getting to the end of it, and I was like, all right, let me watch the first episode. First episode was really good with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then I just have not gone back since to watch it because I was watching anime and How I Met Your Mother. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and reading. I read a lot actually. Yeah.
Wow.
How are your books going?
Great. I definitely know where they are and what books I was reading when we last spoke. 22. What?
Catch 22, I think, was the last book you reading.
That is underneath my coffee table.
Good. You should try audiobooks, man. I mean,
I probably will. I need content. It's like I just need stuff on in the background while I'm like.
Audiobooks are great for. I mean, you have to kind of pay attention to them, but
while I'm doing work, because I get off of work, I'm like, yeah, I want to read and not just stare at my phone, but I am too tired to rise from my bed. So I feel like a sick Victorian child most of the time, which is probably not a healthy way to live my life.
No.
However,
do you have a social life, Brennan? I think definitely more than I have. Because you live with people. I don't live with people.
Yeah.
I'm so desperate to the point where I'm on Bumble BFF so I can find friends.
Oh.
But I did go to an Asian festival today, so that was
I saw that on your Snapchat story.
Yeah, it was cool. I had Thai food for lunch, and then for dessert, I had Chinese donuts. Highly recommend Chinese donuts. Nice. I mean, this is dough with powdered sugar, but like obviously, who wouldn't eat that? I guess people who are gluten free wouldn't eat that, but
probably.
Anyway,
I probably have. I probably have a social life out somewhere ish.
It's just not with you right now.
It is not currently it's not currently in my office where I spend like 16 hours a day.
Oh, good. That's it's a healthy work-life balance you got there.
Yep. It's work and life all in one small 9x9 square.
And that's kind of why I can't work at home.
Yeah.
But it works sometimes for people, just not me.
Nice.
Also, I can't really do what I have to do at work without being there. So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess I could get a blow mold machine for my apartment, but it would fall through the floor. So, anyway, content. So, How I Met Your Mother would be really good to have on in the background. It's like one of those shows, it's just like on in the back, like it is right now here.
Is it on in the background right now as you're recording?
No, I can't. No, because it'd be too loud.
Like the laugh track.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Anyway, okay. Opinion: do you or do you not like the laugh track?
I don't. From
don't like the laugh track.
I don't like it when it's overused. There are some shows where it's used like the perfect amount, and those it's like great, but the perfect amount is like a very small amount most times.
I have figured it out at this point.
Because there are some shows I can't think of any examples, but there are some shows that I know use it and I'm fine with. Like I don't notice it most times that I'm watching.
How About Your Mother uses it, I think.
Shows like The Big Bang Theory, I cannot send these to the laugh track because that's like all of their jokes. They have to have like the laugh track there for.
It's funny how you think they're jokes.
Yeah. I wouldn't know that without the laugh track.
Yeah.
They have to include it because otherwise you wouldn't know when you're supposed to laugh. But it's so noticeable there. Other shows use it, it's not. That show, it's like overused. So with How I Met Your Mother, I'm pretty sure it uses it because I've seen like clips and stuff on like
it started in 2005 though.
TikTok thing.
It started in 2005, so obviously it uses it. That was like the time of the laugh track.
Yeah.
I completely tuned it out at this point, so I don't know I don't think they use it very much in season 9, and if they do, I didn't notice.
Nice.
So
that's why you're not hearing the laugh track playing right now.
I also am not making any jokes, so Oh, there it was.
Yeah.
I will say, Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother, best womanizer in TV history. Which I don't know if that's a good thing, but
I don't know if that's a good thing either.
When they didn't reboot it, but there's a show now called How I Met Your Father, which is like
right?
in the same universe kind of thing. There's only 10 episodes. I think 22 episodes are going to come later in the year or early next year or whatever.
Interesting.
They didn't use the laugh track for episode 1, but they did for episode 2 through 10. Anyway, they don't have a womanizer in that show because it's kind of not a trope anymore.
Which I think is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think just everyone sleeps around now. I don't think it's not like one particular person's thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably a good thing. I guess I know the most well-known womanizer I think is Joey Tribbiani from Friends. I think by the way, that's another show. Very obvious laugh track.
Yeah. I might need to watch that at some point.
Nope.
No,
not worth it. Nope. It was on in my house the entirety of my life because it's like one of my mom's favorite shows.
There were that many episodes. Wow.
10 seasons, I think.
Yeah.
From 94 to 2004.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway,
cool.
Office is another show. They don't use it though. I don't.
No.
Hyped. So
they don't. But it's the exact same where it had 9 seasons and the first 7 were great. The last 2 were horrible.
No, I heard season 1 sucks because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you really just got to get through season 1 and then it's fine. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch a bad show for one season.
I mean, it's not that bad. It's bad compared to like the rest of the series, but like what it did is there was like the British version of The Office, which was like the first one.
Yes, which I heard is really good. I've never seen it, but
and then the US version to kind of ride the success, they decided to like copy at least the first episode like beat for beat.
Really?
But because we're a different audience, like the United States is a different audience than the United Kingdom, it just didn't land here like at all.
Gotcha.
So essentially when you watch that first episode, kind of the first season, it's just like the UK style of humor instead of the US style of humor. Gotcha. And then season 2 onwards, it was like the US style of humor instead.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like that the way it ended, and especially since Steve Carell left.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens. Community is a really weird show.
Where like everybody left,
but it was still a good show.
Yeah.
It's weird. And they introduce new characters, which a lot of times does not work in shows.
But it really worked here.
Yeah,
like I cannot think of a single other show where it worked that well. But like every character they added, they were able to find like a niche for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what really helped it. Yeah. Yeah.
Which the Dean, obviously everyone knows the Dean.
Oh, yes.
Like probably one of the best side characters in sitcoms, at least. I mean, and he's like a really fleshed out character. He had like a lot of character development for someone who's like a side character.
Yeah, he started off, he started to have such a small role, but he had such like a great, it's the same thing with like with Senior Chang at first. He was called that like the first thing where he started off, supposed to have like a very, very small role, but he just worked with the cast so well. Him and the Dean just became like very large, important recurring characters, which was fantastic.
Shit, Chang he took over the damn school.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that whole arc. Like it's weird, but like it's just so unique, so uniquely Community that it just works.
Yeah, I absolutely love in like the last episode of that where it's like the finale where like he's like the dictator of the school, and then the Greendale 7 have to come in to face him, and then they're like in the storage room or whatever, and then Chang pulls out his like weapon or he's spinning it around. He's like, so it ends as it began. And Jeff is like, what are you talking about? It didn't begin this way. And it's just like the peak of his like insanity. And it's so funny. Like that one line, that one scene just sticks with me.
And then there was Changnesia, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I actually thought Changnesia was kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
And the whole
all the arcs for Chang were fantastic.
During that whole arc, and there's a lot of because when I remember TV shows, like I'll remember like bits and pieces. Obviously, my favorite episodes are my favorite episodes, but there'll be bits and pieces from episodes like I know I've watched, but I don't remember where they were. and one of them was when they thought they were when they were convinced they're in an insane asylum.
Yes.
Like when I went back and rewatched, I was like, I know there was this part, but I don't remember when or where it was. And like, I kept getting through. I'm like, am I crazy? Did I make that up?
And then you've been in the insane asylum the whole time.
And then I got to that point, like, oh my God, there it is. There it was. So
yep.
And then that happened with a couple of things in How I Met Your Mother. Like, I know this happened, but I don't remember when. And like going through this rewatch, like, that's when that happened. And it's because I didn't rewatch that episode very much. Is that why I forgot when that was? But
the only other thing that like I'll add right here to this sitcom conversation, I was reminded of it when we were talking about The Office and like how the first season there are a lot of people who like don't like it at all. Like there's the same kind of thing with Parks and Rec, where the first season of Parks and Rec kind of has that same fan consensus where they're like, it's kind of this outlier thing, but the rest of the show, I actually like the first season of Parks and Rec a lot. Like that's my favorite season, I think, out of the entire show, just the first season, just because like the humor was very dry, and I like more of that dry style of humor when it's done well. And I thought it was phenomenal. Like the whole show is phenomenal as well. Like I really do like Parks and Rec. I don't really go back and rewatch it all that much, but like I was like, yeah, that was a good show when I watched it for the first time. But the first season just holds a special place in my heart, just because I'm like, it's just so unlike the rest of the show, and I really like that style of like dry humor there that it never really went back to after it had moved on.
So I've never watched Parks and Rec all the way through. I've only ever watched it like on TV, and I love that show. I need to watch it all the way through. I don't know if it's still on Hulu though.
The first season felt more realistic and grounded than like the rest of the series had. So
yeah.
I just like that.
Do you know
that was a relevant thing to add here?
Yeah. Do you know what show is consistently good? I don't think it has a bad, or at least not that I can remember. It has a bad season or like a bad. Obviously, every show has their bad episodes, but I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine was like all throughout its 8 seasons, which I can't believe there's 8 seasons. And I guess season 8 wasn't amazing, but they were also rushed for time because it was COVID and stuff. But
it did feel more consistent than like any other show had.
Over time. It was like very solid over time, and I've only watched it through I think twice, so it's been a while. Because I think I watched it during the pandemic, and then I went back and I watched it again like immediately after. But like it's very consistent throughout the entirety of its run.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched like the last 4 or 5 episodes yet, just because I just haven't. I actually think I fell asleep when I was watching them because I was like really tired. I just watched them. I threw them on and just forgot to pause it. But it was very consistent throughout its entire time. And there's some great, there's some great heartfelt moments. There's some great learning moments. It says a lot about like cops and their roles in society. And stuff like that. It always nailed it with that kind of stuff, and while also being funny.
So like I mean, like it's especially props to the last season. How it handled things, because there was a lot that changed in the world that they had to suddenly be like, if we're going to continue this show, we need to address this. And although I don't think they like did like a perfect job, I want to at all say that they did a really great job of like tackling the issue in the scope of it still being a show themed around police. Right.
And they had to, or else I mean that was kind of they always did that. They always kind of covered I think it was season 4. That episode where Terry was misidentified by that the beat cop. They always did that, and they did it really well, and they did it with humor, but they also had a very serious tone when they needed to. And there's just so many good arcs in that show. And one arc I didn't think was going to be good was when Holt and Jake went into witness protection. I did not think that was going to be a good arc, but that ended up being a really good, funny arc. The whole time.
Yeah, like the one thing about that show, and I'm pretty sure it was that show that I kind of liked, but also kind of would annoy me at sometimes, just how every season had to end on like a giant cliffhanger. that wouldn't get resolved in the next season. Like,
and that was the good thing about binging it, is because like I think I started when before season 7 started, and then the pandemic happened. But I just went right all the way through. But if I had been watching it with everyone else, that would have sucked, because that was the beginning of season 5, I think. When there were this protection, they went in at the end of season 4 or something like that. I thought
it was a little bit earlier.
It might have been 3 and 4. I don't remember.
Yeah, but it was, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I will say I was fortunate enough to not start watching until it was one season where there was like a cliffhanger, but it was a much smaller cliffhanger compared to some other ones. I was like, all right. But like if I'd been caught in like a big one, I would have been like, no, tell me what happens now. So.
Yeah. And then season 6, the end of season 6, I think, is when Jake and what was her name? Amy got married. I think that was the end of season 6. And so that's kind of where I was brought into it. And then I caught up to season 7, wherever they were. And then Panini happened. And then I think that season was cut short. And then the next season was also very short. But after, we'll come back. I want to...
One more piece of news first.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess just back to news now. This has been like the 40-minute news section here. But the Weird Al... movie has a release date of November 4th, I think now, and the official trailer for that movie is dropping tomorrow.
Oh wow, so, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So
but
that's cool.
I think
that's all the news I can think of right now, besides the HBO Max. The HBO Max news. I don't know if this happened before the last episode or not. Did I talk about Infinity Train the last episode here?
I don't know what that is.
Infinity Train was a cartoon. It was originally pitched to Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network did not pick it up, but HBO Max eventually did. So it was an HBO Max exclusive. I didn't realize that it was out yet. It had 4 seasons that were out, but it was on HBO Max exclusive. I heard it was being removed from HBO Max. So I was like, that was how I realized it was out. I was like, oh, let me go watch this. And I got through 13 episodes of like its 40 episode run.
Yeah.
And then it was yanked off of HBO Max. There was no warning, no anything. And it was only available on HBO Max. It was an HBO Max
original.
Exclusive. So now it's just nowhere. It's just in the void. And it sucks. They did that for that show and a lot of other really great shows too. Just they didn't have to pay the creators the residuals for having it on their platform, just to cut costs. And HBO Max they tried to save $3 billion, and I think they've lost like $5 billion in like their valuation now. So they went the opposite way. So I wanted to toss that up. That sucks. I hate that they're doing this, and I hate that I can't watch the end of Infinity Train now because it was a really good cartoon. Like, oh my god.
Fuck Discovery. That's all I have to say on that.
This is the worst thing. It was the worst thing to happen to streaming.
So when we come back,
in general,
I'm gonna wrap up our
stuff.
Conversation on, because I have a couple more things to say about sitcoms, and then we're gonna get into She-Hulk because I like how we say when we come back, even though till the listener, there's almost gonna be no. I know, but like, it doesn't matter. But it would work if we were a radio program, but we're not. But anyway,
after this short ad break, we'll be back.
Okay.
This episode of Chip Roasting has been sponsored by the concept of floor lamps. That's right, they're lamps that sit on the floor.
The concept
for households since 1436. That's true date.
Nope.
And now,
light
without further ado, back to the podcast with Wally and Not Wet Hair. Hi, yes, it is me, Not Wet Hair, and I'm joined by Wally for this continuation of episode 50 of our podcast.
I'm just going to call it sitcoms because that's what we're talking about. That's what we've been talking about. And She-Hulk, I think, is a sitcom.
That is true.
Before we get any further,
I was gonna combine She-Hulk and sitcoms, but I caught it in my head right before I said it. I caught it just in time.
Nope, never mind. That's the name of the episode now. Shitcoms.
Which is funny because we've been talking flatteringly about like all of the sitcoms we've talked about.
Yeah.
But that...
No, well, I mean, I didn't talk flatteringly about How I Met Your Mother. I said the last season made the entire show irrelevant, but it's a good show.
Yes.
So did you watch Seinfeld growing up?
No.
Because that's another show that uses the laugh track, but I think it's like enough because the show's just so fucking hilarious anyway. Yeah. I don't think it's any I think it actually is on Peacock, maybe. Actually, don't know. No, it's CBS. I don't know where it is. It might be on Paramount. It might be also on Netflix and Hulu, and who knows? There's too many now. This is I saw somewhere once that someone was like, there's eventually all these television networks are going to get like streaming services, and then it's just going to be cheaper to get cable than to get of the streaming services, and that's come to fruition. They were correct. That's why I don't have all the streaming services or cable.
So I just Googled just for funsies here after that ad read. When were floor lamps invented?
Okay, can I guess first?
Sure. You're gonna guess wrong.
Am I?
Because of what the first result says. The first result is definitely wrong, but just if we're treating this as the correct answer, you'll be absolutely wrong.
Is it not like 1857?
It is 70,000 BC.
No, that is a floor lamp. Are we thinking like the holders that were like on walls that held like fire? Is that on the floor?
That has to be what they're talking about here. Okay. This article says floor and table lamps came into their own during the 1920s. So that's probably more.
Okay, that makes more sense.
More believable.
I don't know why I said 1857. It should be like the late 1800s, like when that light bulb was invented.
I guess that would probably help. Yes.
I mean, like it could have just been a floor thing. I guess it could have held like a candle box or something. Not a candle box, but you know what I'm talking about. Like the thing the Grim Reaper holds. Yeah.
A lantern?
Yeah, lantern. English is my first language, apparently.
I forgot the word for hair dryer at one point, and I could not. I was like, what? The blow is you're doing the, and I just could not think of the word hair dryer until I was like, dries hair, and I was like, is that right? Is that
hair torch, hair.
Yeah.
The thing that dries your hair dryer.
Yep.
It's okay. I forgot what we made, and we make bottles at work. I was like, the bottle, and they're just like, it took you that long? I'm like, yep. Welcome to Wally. I forgot my boss's name. My boss's name is John.
Oh, well, don't blame yourself. That's an impossible name to remember there.
I was like,
that's so far away from like the default first immediate name that you think of when you think of like
John
English
Doe?
name. John Doe or just John Smith or just anything like that.
Brennan, my brain does not function correctly all the time. Usually with names, especially with names. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah.
I mean,
but do you know what name I never forget?
Not Wet Hair. I would never forget that name.
True. Actually, you know what? It's funny. I have forgotten it. What is She-Hulk's name?
Jennifer
Walters. Thank you. Oh my God, that's part of my name. Anyway. Dude's name I never forget. Okay. Jennifer Walters. She-Hulk. First 2 episodes are out.
Yes.
Initial reactions.
What are your initial? Never mind. I guess you beat me to the punch there. I have liked the show so far as a whole. The first episode, I thought there was a lot of unnecessary conflict between her and Bruce Banner.
Yes.
But as a whole, I like the episode.
Well, they are Hulks. Let's remember that.
Yes. I did think it was kind of cheap how they explained like why he wouldn't revert back into Hulk form when they got into the car accident. They just so quickly, he was like, oh yeah, I built this device so I remain in human form no matter what. And then they got into a car accident like a minute later. And since they did, I was like, okay, come on. You couldn't have done like anything else. You just had to kind of shoehorn in this explanation. I mean, it worked. Like it made sense. But it was just like, because I was like, I know they're about to get into a car wreck here because that's what all the trailers have been about, is like them getting into the car wrecks. Of course, I had the conversation about why he's going to stay in human form, like in the car right before they get into the car wreck.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird that he could just make a machine to keep him in human form the whole time, when allegedly, he tried for like 16 years to like go back and forth between like, like the internal struggle that he had.
It's weird to me that they almost treat him, and maybe it's because he would be too much like, which we'll get to, like the other Hulk person who played Hulk. But it's almost like the MCU forgets that Hulk, like Bruce Banner's like a genius. Like, it's weird. Like,
yeah, it is kind of this odd thing, but like, and like also it's like, I don't know, he almost feels like a different character from the Hulk now.
Yes. Well, you talking about like Smart Hulk or just Bruce Banner in general?
Just, I mean, like the both of them. It just feels like you look way back at like the first Hulk movie and just Hulk's evolution in the MCU. We're just like so far away from original Hulk now, which like I get with the time, that it's not that it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It also just feels so odd. It's like, it's like this is hardly the same character here. And it looks like we might be getting another Hulk arc at some point.
Yeah,
based
clearly
on episode 2, which would be awesome. But like, I'm like, what do we expect? Because if it's like a Hulk solo project even here,
well, they can't, because of Universal, because they won't give up their rights for whatever reason.
Yeah, like they technically can't. They worked it out with Spider-Man, where Spider-Man has like a main role now, even though
I'm sure they probably could.
So maybe they could, but it's like, even if it's like, I'm not solely focused on the Hulk, even if he has like a major role here, it's like, will he be like the Hulk we're seeing now, or are they going to go back to like the original kind of Hulk here? Because I know there've been a lot of people saying like they want like the original Hulk back, like that kind of conflict, which like the people who've been talking about it have been saying bad things about like the new Hulk. I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. No, I'm like this is fine, but they are right that like that would be really cool to see as well.
Right. Yeah. And to be truth be told, I'm not the biggest fan of what's his name, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits. Maybe it's just because I like the Hulk movie. It's not a great movie, but it's fine. I just don't think he fits Hulk or Bruce Banner as well as Edward Norton did. Maybe it's just he just seems too nice for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just how I see him, and maybe it's because of the way they've treated the Hulk since what was it, Infinity War?
And it's weird because like, I mean, we almost got to see more of Edward Norton as the Hulk than we have gotten to see Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, because like, I mean,
probably
Edward Norton had his whole solo movie, and the Hulk has just kind of been in backgrounds. Like, I mean, he's had major roles, but he's never been like the sole focus since the Hulk movie.
Right.
So
yeah. And I think it's probably a combination of like the contract thing and Marvel clearly not wanting to deal with it, which is probably why they haven't made another movie, because clearly Universal doesn't want to work with them on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, so I'm not the biggest fan of the Hulk in the MCU. I haven't been like it's not even since the beginning, because I didn't see Infinity War. I didn't see any of the Avengers movies in theaters except maybe the first one. So like, I don't know. It's not a fan of him in general. Yeah. I do like what's her name? Tatiana something. She's been great as Jennifer Walters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
I wanted to add. I believe I forgot now. What did I want to add? Hold on a second.
Things apparently. Is it about Hulk?
Yes, it was. I wanted to say something else, and
about Bruce, or about Edward Norton, or about Mark Ruffalo.
Great question.
You're on it today.
Never mind. You go back to your thing here, and I will think about it.
Yeah. So anyway, initial reaction, which is the question you asked me. Oh, I like it so far.
Yeah, and then initial reaction from me, because I think you also asked that. I like it so far as well. There's a conflict thing which I was kind of like meh about, but I mean, as a whole, I really do like the direction the story is taking, which I didn't think. Oh, that's what I was going to say about the Hulk earlier, is that it was so weird that they kind of seemed like they were trying to distance themselves from the first Hulk movie. And then there's a question of like, is it the MCU? Is it not the MCU? Because like, they basically didn't really acknowledge any of the events. But now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like heavily acknowledging all of those events,
in the last
which is kind of nice, but it's kind of confusing as well. So
yeah, in the last year, they've like in What If they acknowledged the events of Hulk,
right?
But obviously one a little different because it was zombie Hulk, right?
No, it was the story where like
Black Widow killed them all.
Not Black Widow, is being like framed.
Oh, it was Ant-Man.
Yeah, it was the original Ant-Man. It was the Hornet. Is that what the name was? I think. It was the Hornet. Yeah. Okay.
Yellow Jacket. That's who it was.
Yellow Jacket. It was, yes.
Hank Pym? It was Van Dyne. Nope, not Van Dyne. Pym. Hank Pym. Yeah. Which I like that portrayal of Hank Pym a lot. Yeah. I kind of wish we'd gotten that in the MCU, but whatever. I guess it's technically in the MCU, it's just an alternate universe. Anyway.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was good. But
so
yeah, so there was
the last time we have an acknowledgement of that. And then that was the Shang-Chi,
that was the first and the last time. Or
no, Shang-Chi
what?
It was acknowledged that the Abomination
exists. Yeah.
He's here. Hello. Same. Yeah. I think it's the same actor. Same person.
Yes.
And now we're getting even further. It's like, this is like the same actor. And everything that has happened earlier happened in the MCU. Like that's a thing.
It looks like there's now direct overlap between Shang-Chi and here based on how episode 2 ended. So
this takes place, I guess, I think they all kind of take place around the same time, but this is like the first time we've seen one MCU thing have like effect with another, like have direct correlation by like referencing the other one.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think a lot of people have been mad about that. And I know you've mentioned it in the past, like how you feel like they're all disconnected. I'm like, I don't really care because it's the first phase of a big project, but we've now been revealed how big this project is for phase 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. No, but this absolutely makes me feel very satisfied with how things have been. The timeline, like I have to look closely at the timeline to make sure things actually work the way they're being portrayed as working now. But obviously there's a lot more episodes left to go. But the two things I'll say is that my feelings towards the series so far are very positive.
Yeah.
And this might end up being one of my favorite MCU shows.
Really?
Just based on the fact that so far, this one feels the most like a show out of all the shows that we've received.
That's true.
Like most, even if they're good, I think they should have been shows, still feel like movies turned into shows. This one feels like a show. The first one, maybe ever to feel genuinely like it was pitched as a show from the start.
Like the first 3 episodes of WandaVision felt like that. They felt like a show.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's just because they were doing a thing that worked really well. And then it kind of went away from that. But you're right. Falcon and the Winter Soldier probably should have been a movie.
Yes. Yeah, it absolutely.
Who was after that? Loki? Oh, Loki. Yeah, it could have been a movie. I think it works better as a show.
Loki, I feel like it was so concentrated. I was like, if they spread it out, it would have been a fantastic show. It just feels like it was pitched as a movie and kind of got turned into a show. And for Falcon and the Soldier, because that's honestly one of my least favorite shows, but I really do feel like if it was a movie, it would have been like, that would have honestly been one of my favorite movies, especially just with Captain America as a whole. That would have been great.
That's true. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then
Hawkeye.
Was that the next show after
Loki?
Loki?
I think so. Am I skipping over one?
I don't think so. I think they're
okay.
No, because it went I think it was Loki, Black Widow, Shang-Chi.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had because it was a while. Because then we had Hawkeye, then we had Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's how it all worked out. Yeah, Hawkeye was really good, but again, maybe could have been a movie. I don't know.
Just because like
it was like that kind of like medium there.
Yeah, just because it was so short, only 6 episodes, and it kind of felt like it went from event to event to event to event. Like it should have been a more movie. And this She-Hulk just feels slower paced.
It's episodic
and taking its time as a show.
It's separate story. Like obviously it all connects, but like it's separate stories, like contained stories within each episode. And obviously this episode 2 was a little bit less contained to itself, and will spill over in episode 3. But but that wasn't until the end of the episode.
Yeah,
it all kind of felt like its own thing.
It felt like I was tuning into an episode of a show and not like, part part 4 of a movie.
Right.
So yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot for that. It just feels a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight definitely did the same thing, where that just kind of felt like movies. Again, the first half of Miss Marvel felt a lot like you could do TV, like it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Then it started to get
ends.
Yeah, it was weird. Kind of
like a movie.
Not collapsed
ending.
on itself, but like it definitely like stretched itself out more than it needed to.
Yeah.
And Moon Knight, which again, and I really liked Miss Marvel. I thought Miss Marvel was really, really good.
Same.
And then Moon Knight again definitely could have been a movie.
Yeah.
Did not feel contained within itself per episode.
Yeah. And like all those shows were great and they were great as shows, but they easily felt like, okay, this started off as a movie and was turned into a show. And they may have done it well or may have done it not so well, but it kind of feels like that still. But She-Hulk so far, I know we're only 2 episodes in, but it's feeling a lot more like, hey, this was always a show from the very start, and they're leaning into it being a show.
Right.
So hope they keep that up. Please keep that up.
Do you like the short episodes?
What?
Or no, the 30 minutes, or do you want them to be longer?
Yeah, no, I like that length, especially because there are more of them. There are 9 and there aren't like just 6. Right. So it just feels like it's working very, very, very well.
Right.
Let's hope they keep that, because if they do this well, it gives me much higher hopes for Daredevil. Like I'm already excited for Daredevil.
Right.
Like
right.
Daredevil needs to
be in this show.
No. Well, yeah. Him in the show,
but also later on.
Yeah, and also for his show, because if they need to get the show format down, because if Daredevil feels like an 18-part movie, like that would be awesome. I don't know how I'm going to possibly sit through that, much less rewatch that.
Yeah.
An 18-part movie would be insane.
But
yeah, I am looking forward to him being in this show as well. It'll be really, really cool to see his introduction and seeing if they work together at all, or if any like interaction in the courtroom, if it's purely interaction as like superheroes instead.
Yeah. And unlike the other shows, because like we said, the other shows kind of felt like movies. So like we kind of knew where they were going. I don't really know where the show's going, to be completely honest. Like I know obviously she's gonna have to deal with Blonsky. Yeah. But I don't know. Like I don't see a possible in for Daredevil yet.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's because we're 2 episodes in, but I don't know where the show's going. I'm very excited to see where it does go. And I know there's been a lot of bad press around this show because of the dudes online are being all like they did the same thing that they've always done.
Yeah.
They're just being sexist idiots. And they had an opinion formed before the show came out, and they're not going to change it, no matter how good the show ends up being.
Yeah.
So nothing you can do about that. Just kind of ignore it. Because again, this show is really good, and you're right. You know, the potential is there for it to be a top MCU project thus far.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what comes of it.
And I will also add is like what I'm really liking about this show so far. I feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like in rewatching it. One of the reasons I wanted to rewatch it is because it did so well. Like the smaller scale stuff that like that Marvel needed. It's probably one of the main reasons like my interest in Marvel peaked and stayed high.
Right.
Is because like I could go see the movies, and then like every week in between I could see what was happening in this amazing universe that was being built. And then they decanonized it, and it didn't matter anymore.
Well, it might be recanoned again because of timelines.
it's I guess we will see.
Yeah, the multiverse is making things very complicated.
Yeah. But it was absolutely phenomenal seeing all this like small scale stuff that would happen between, and like knowing like, oh, it's not just these big events. There's like smaller, more grounded things occurring that you would expect to see in like everyday life. Right. That's kind of the vibe from She-Hulk that I got as well. I'll also say that in Daredevil, in Jessica Jones and all that made me feel the same way. Yeah. But like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. specifically, they would deal with like super powered individuals that weren't necessarily like, you know, names from the comics or anything, just, you know, like smaller characters. And in the first episode, when whoever the person was who broke in, I don't know if she's from the comics or not, but when it was just that smaller scale fight where it's like, oh, she's just like I don't know if they specified it in the show, or if I just saw like from an interview later on, she's like a super powered influencer who had like a parking ticket or something like that, who then was causing all the damage, and then She-Hulk had to, you know, turn and like fight her. It's like, that felt super small scale, like super like this would happen if this was going on in the real world.
Right.
So that's just super cool to see. I'm like, yeah, this is helping kind of connect those smaller scale dots we never see connected.
Yeah, like and even I know Moon Knight is supposed to be like a street level hero. The stuff he dealt with in his show was not street level. It was
huge.
It wasn't like multiversal. It wasn't like even universal, but like
but
it had a big impact, even just on a country, and that's even just too big. Yeah, and I think that's something that, like you said, like the Daredevil, the Jessica Jones, the Luke Cage did really well. So just street level. I mean, especially Luke Cage. Luke Cage was true street level, and it was a street game.
Oh yes.
With lots of money, lots of power, and it was just affecting this one borough in New York City. In Harlem. I don't even think Harlem's a borough. I think it's just like a city.
I don't know.
I don't know how any of that stuff works.
Yeah,
but I mean, it just affected Harlem, and that's it. It didn't affect anything else. Yeah. And of course, they referenced the thing that happened in 2012.
Yeah.
And I actually think Hawkeye did a pretty good job at staying street level for the most part too.
For the most part, the ending of it, I still feel was like too big when you're having like,
maybe
just like the big fight with like endless waves of like these minions who are coming and attacking. It was almost video
game-esque.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, and I think moving forward, Echo, I think hopefully we'll do a good job at this. Hopefully, She-Hulk will do a good job of doing this going forward.
Speaking of news with Echo, sorry, I just want to interject here. I also think I saw that Echo has finished filming as of yesterday.
Hey, awesome.
So that is cool. I'm not sure if it's 100% factual or not, but I wanted to add that in. But that is great.
Yes, but like with the comics, a lot of people fell in love with. I mean, there are the three. So there are like 4 or 5 like main huge superheroes that everyone knows. There's the big guys who like do like space stuff and Earth stuff, and that's Superman, and that's the X-Men, or pretty much Wolverine, and he's still pretty street level.
Yeah, the X-Men, you mean Wolverine? Yeah,
well, it's Wolverine. That's who people know. It's Superman and Wolverine. And like I said, Wolverine, he does do street level stuff, but like he's more kind of kin to Superman. And then there's Batman and Spider-Man, and I think that's it. Kind of. Those are like the 4 big ones that everyone knows. Maybe Hulk. But
you're probably right.
But the other 2, Batman and Spider-Man, I don't know Batman, and they both helped with these big multiversal things. But they're both street level heroes. And that's the thing that they're popular because they're small scale. And a lot of people and I think Spider-Man originally was made, Stanley said that he was the everyday man, the working man's hero. And I think that we finally, and I think moving forward, hopefully this is what Spider-Man becomes, is the street level hero that everyone came to know and love,
Stop putting Spider-Man in space.
Pretty much.
So, even though I will say I absolutely loved seeing Spider-Man in space. That was phenomenal, but it's like
he's been great so far. But I can't wait to get him to the street level stuff. The Doc Ock, the Rhino, the Lizard, not Electro. The little guy, and I know in the newer movies they weren't little guys, but like the little guys,
Maybe Wilson Fisk.
Wilson Fisk, yes, that's
maybe
a great example.
I'm hoping because they said during the Comic-Con thing that that Daredevil and Spider-Man would like lead the street hero wave.
Oh, please. Please.
I'm hoping that Daredevil Born Again does whatever. Mm-hmm. And then for Spider-Man 4, it has Daredevil and Spider-Man team up to take down Fisk. That would be what?
And Deadpool. I need Team Red, damn it. I will push this until it happens. I need some Team Red action. Well, no, Daredevil.
But that would be phenomenal.
I'm sorry, not Daredevil, but Deadpool. Perfect example of why everyone loves street level heroes.
I should probably watch those movies at some point.
Have you never seen them?
No,
oh my God, Brennan, they're on Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay, but
they're actually on Disney Plus now. I think,
you're right?
You're right. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
But like that's a perfect example. And none of the 2 things. What the hell happened in season? Oh yeah, okay, I remember not season 2, number 2. Neither of them affected like anything. Except Deadpool and anything that was going on around Deadpool. It wasn't like this massive extravagant thing. It was just Deadpool.
Sweet.
And then like whoever the hell he was slicing up, that's as street level as you can get. And I wasn't completely street level. Obviously, it affected other people, but like Deadpool and Spider-Man and Daredevil and She-Hulk and Moon Knight, we just need the street level, man.
Yeah.
But She-Hulk, good movie.
Yeah,
good show so far.
Yeah, with She-Hulk, like so far, I am enjoying it. I'm interested to see what it sets up with the Hulk, because he's gone now. So I'm assuming there's something set up with him.
Space.
But it'll be really interesting to see her continue, like especially with like the superhuman law division. Yes. She's working at. I'm excited to see what's going on with that.
I can't wait to see
what happens with Abomination. Yeah. Oh yeah. It'll be so cool seeing her as like the focal point for like all of this going on around her, which is going to be, because so far I am really liking her character here. Me
too. The only thing that throws me is that it's on Thursdays. I forget. I'm like, shit, I gotta watch She-Hulk.
Was there anything else I was going to add? Oh, also, it's super weird that they've been having post-credit scenes for like all these episodes now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
I forgot about
because like for the first episode, I was planning to turn it off, but I was like, let me just wait and see if they have whatever. Like, I'm not going to be doing anything if I turn this off. So let's let the credits roll. And sure enough, there was a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
And then for episode 2, I was like, they did one for this one. They're not going to do one for everyone probably, but let me just wait and see. And they had one for here too. And I was like,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is going to be a 9-episode, like all 9 episodes having post-credit scenes should be phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
That would be. And it somehow feels just like a sitcom-y thing to do, which I don't know why, but it's always kind of like it just kind of feels like it fits with the tone of it being a sitcom. So,
and it's a sitcom for sure, and it's
nice. Yeah,
I have a feeling because of the way it's kind of laid out, we're gonna get a season 2 of She-Hulk.
Oh,
I hope we get a season 2. At least I hope we get one. Yeah. I also hope we get a season 2 of. See, the one show I did want a season 2 of is getting a season 2, and that's Loki. And it's been my least favorite to watch so far. I don't know why.
Wow. Huh.
It got a season 2, and we're still sitting here, no Hawkeye or Moon Knight, no season 2 yet. So
yeah.
No Hawkeye, I kind of understand. But like definitely Moon Knight, Marvel, get on that.
But and I will say for She-Hulk, when they started describing it as like a sitcom, I was kind of like hesitant for all that. But so far, they've been doing the whole sitcom thing well.
And clearly, as we've discussed, as can be taken from our discussion earlier, we seem to be sitcom experts.
Oh yes. This is the sitcom episode, also known as the
sitcom. That's what I would call it, sitcom number 50.
You have to like spell it right. That has to be SHE dash
COM.
Yeah. Everyone is gonna assume that we just did not like the She-Hulk show, and I really hope that they get to this point where it's like, no, we did. It just was too good of a play on words to pass up on. It was too good of a play on words.
I think that's all I got for this episode. This has been a wild episode. I'll try to keep up with news for next episode, but no problem.
I will also try to look at news. But
I have a job, and it gets in the way of the podcast. So
the podcast should be your number one priority. I don't know what you're doing here.
No, I should just be sitting at work while on my computer. Like, forget the stuff I have to do outside. Like, go on my computer and just start getting sponsors. And see, I had thought that you moved to undisclosed state in order to work on the podcast. I didn't know it was for what? Instead of, I don't live in Alberta anymore, like I said we did. I live in Winnipeg now.
Oh, sorry. In undisclosed province. Yeah.
Even though I just said where.
That was my bad. Yeah. A disclosed province. Wait,
Winnipeg's in Manitoba. Duh, not Saskatchewan. What is wrong with me? God,
whatever.
Wally, get to know your country.
Yeah, you're a hockey expert. You have to know this stuff.
Yes, yeah.
That's what Canada has, right? That's
seven whole teams. None of which have won a Stanley Cup since 1993.
I need to visit Canada at some point because I've always wanted to. But
what do you mean you live there?
I need to. Oh yeah, I mean, go outside, of course. I've kind of been in this box. I need to visit the outside. I just know
you got
hockey.
Your plane.
I feel like that's
you got your plane from where originally lived.
Yeah.
To your front door and have not visited the rest of Canada.
I just went up, over, and just drop. Because
you're in a helicopter.
I just know Canada has hockey and bags of milk, and I feel like that's a very offensive thing for me only to know that. That doesn't sound right.
It's true. They do have hockey and bags of milk, and one of the provinces speaks French.
Aha, bonjour. Okay.
Haha, bonjour, he says. Anyway, next time you guys see us, we'll be a lot like a week. No, actually, it might even be our 2 week.
Next time you all see us, I will be in the grocery store buying a bag of milk. Until
next episode, I'm gonna delay it so we can drop it on our 2-year anniversary. September 14th. So next time you guys see us, episode number 51.
51
will also be our 2-year anniversary. Thank you guys for listening to us for 50 whole episodes. I can't believe we're still doing this.
I don't know why.
I'm surprised we came back to do it. But when I texted Brennan, like, hey, do you want to do a podcast again? I'm surprised you didn't, like, why were we doing this?
I am desperate. And with that being said,
I need to talk to someone other than my roommates and fiance.
Yes. Other than my walls.
Yep.
Because it gets scary when you're talking to a cat and that cat like starts talking back to you and you're like, I am hallucinating. I'm
not a witch. I did not sign up to be Sabrina.
Yes. But like, all jokes aside, I really have enjoyed doing this podcast. Yeah, I didn't think I would ever enjoy doing a podcast. I don't know why I ever said yes when you first asked me 2 years ago.
And I remember I remember you said, like, yeah, my friends asked me to do podcasts, but I said no to them. But I said yes to you.
I for some reason did, and it's actually been fun. It's been enjoyable. I feel like, I mean, I hope there's no one who listens to our opinions and takes us seriously because we're just two guys doing a podcast for no reason. But it has been a pleasure.
On Zoom exclusively, almost.
Yeah, like, and to all of our listeners who are listening for whatever reason, we really do appreciate having you as a listeners, Matt. Yeah. But yeah, Matt and anybody else, because we have been receiving views and listens. So we are very grateful to y'all. Y'all are the best.
Yeah, for real. 100% the best. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you do like this podcast, subscribe wherever you're listening to it. And then also my YouTube channel, if you're not listening to it there, which you're probably not. Go subscribe to Not Brennan's channel.
I will have content. Yes, it is not Brennan and it's not Wet Hair, but it's primarily not Brennan. And I will have content before the end of the year. We hope. I don't know why I left myself in pizza video to the end of the year. Upload. I do have that. I still need to upload that.
Anyway,
because I've also been trying to edit a movie. I don't know if I've said that before here, but I have been trying to upload a movie for like the longest time. And
you recorded that a while ago. And
hopefully,
I'm eventually supposed to make music for that. Maybe.
Yeah, you are supposed to make music, aren't you?
I don't know if I have time, but if I will try, I will make time for you, Brennan.
All right.
If you make time for this podcast, I'll make time for your movie. So
yes.
But yeah, so subscribe to Not Brennan, subscribe to Wolfgator Entertainment, subscribe on wherever you're listening to, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts.
Apple.
I think we're on other podcatchers. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your night, morning. Don't die, please.
Go roast some chips.
Go roast some. Oh my God. I got a complaint on our last episode that we haven't roasted a chip yet.